Hi, it's Jamie Arenthal. Welcome to your yoga practice. Today's Vinyasa practice is for all levels, so feel free to modify or add on variations as desired. Beginning at the top of your mat, circle the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Allow the palms to face forward. Lift your toes up. Spread them out wide and see if you can lay the toes back down one at a time, leaving space between the toes. Arch your feet, creating tension like a little suction cup at the bottom of your feet. And as you inhale, reach up, joining the palms to touch. And as you exhale, bring your prayer back to heart center. Reach up, inhale. And as you exhale, soften knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. You can shake your head no, you can shake your head yes, and then bend your knees one vertebra at a time. Roll yourself back up to a standing position. Circle shoulders back and down, Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale again. Let your gaze follow your hands. Swan dive over, taking up lots of space. Tuck your chin and breathe here. See if you can soften the knees enough so you can rest your chest on your thighs and then roll your way up one vertebra at a time, circling those shoulders back and behind. Inhale, swan dive. This time, walk your hands up halfway, coming to a flat back. Ardha Uttanasana. And as you exhale, pull your belly button in, tuck your chin to your chest, forward fold, Uttanasana. So it's like a standing cat-cow. Walk your hands halfway up. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, pull your belly button in, chin to your chest, forward fold. One more time like that. Inhale, flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. So half forward fold. And exhale, nose to knees, Uttanasana. Stepping your right leg back. Inhale the arms up by your ears. Anjanae Asana, lunge. Your modifications here could include bending the elbows, bringing them out for more balance. You could also lower that right knee to the floor, just give you a little bit more stability. Exhale, release your hands to the floor and step back, downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, we can start off with the heels off the mat. Think about bending your knees and lifting the tailbone higher. Crown of head points toward the floor, and then you can simply pedal your heels. Dropping one heel and then the other, and just enjoying that sensation as you lengthen through the calves, the Achilles tendons. And then roll up to your tippy toes. Inhale forward into a plank. So just to warm up, we'll start with a modified vinyasa. As you exhale, lower knees, chin, and chest. Inhale onto your belly, toes flat on the floor, and lift the heart up. Elbows stay bent and close to the ribs. And then exhale, forehead down, bend your knees, press back to child's pose, and then downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up. You can open your hip here, stacking right hip over left. See if that allows you to get that left heel just a little bit closer to the mat. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Hold here for a moment. Sweep that right arm up to the sky for a twisting lunge. That back knee could be on the floor. The right hand could be on that right knee to help you twist. And then as you exhale, right hand down, left foot steps forward, forward fold. Look forward, inhale, and reverse swan dive. Exhale, hands to the heart. And release, Tadasana. Inhale, Swan dive. Exhale everything out. Ardha Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, forward fold, nose to knees. Left foot steps back. Arms by ears. High lunge. So think about here how you can find your balance. Maybe it's parting those elbows. Maybe it's bending that left knee or even lowering that knee to the floor. It's up to you. Keeping the gaze steady, keeping the breath even and continuous. And then exhale, hands come down. Step it back, downward facing. You can pedal those heels, just warming up through the backs of the legs. Let your head go, shake no, shake yes. And then rising up to your tippy toes, inhale to plank. One more modified vinyasa. Knees, chin and chest, exhaling everything out. Inhale onto the belly, baby cobra. Exhale through child's pose, downward facing dog. Left leg up. You can open that hip here, stack left hip over right. Notice if that allows you to drop that right heel just a little bit closer to the mat. Exhale, left foot forward. Right hand stays down. Sweep the left arm up to the sky, twisting lunge. Opportunity here, if you want, you could lower that knee. You could hold on to that left thigh and gently press yourself around. And on an exhale, left hand down, right foot forward, forward fold. Look forward, coming through flat back to reverse swan dive. Exhale, centering breath at your heart. Adding on, inhale the arms up. Swan dive, hinging at the hip. Uttanasana. Flat back, inhale. And exhale to fold, nose to knees. Right leg steps back. High lunge. Center your gaze at an unmoving spot, your drishti. Let it steady you. Feeling the connection of your feet to the earth. Exhale, downward facing. Coming through a full vinyasa, of course, you always have the option to modify or to omit the vinyasa. Inhale to plank. Exhale, halfway down, chaturanga, elbows in. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, tops of feet and hands touching floor. Exhale, downward facing. Breathing smoothly, steadily, lips closed, eyes open. Right leg lifts. Send it forward. Right arm up. And then exhaling, right hand down, left foot forward, Uttanasana. Reverse swan dive. And exhale, centering breath at the heart. One more time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, swan dive over. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Left leg steps back, high lunge. Finding your drishti, keeping breath even, smooth, continuous. Let your awareness start at your feet, grounding as you build strength, moving up in the body, generating energy all the way up through your fingertips. Exhaling, hands down, downward facing dog. Full vinyasa, modified or none at all. Inhale forward to plank. Exhale, halfway chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lips are closed, eyes are open. Left leg up. Step it forward. Left arm up to twist. As you exhale, left hand to the mat, step right foot forward, forward fold. Look forward, reverse swan dive. And exhale, centering breath at your heart. Take a moment here with your eyes closed, finding your balance, finding your center. Set your intention for your yoga practice today. If nothing comes to mind, feel free to choose ahimsa, nonviolence, or more broadly, loving kindness and compassion. Float your eyes open, bend your knees, circle arms by ears, Utkatasana. As you exhale, swan dive to forward fold. Inhale, flat back, prepare. Exhale, walk, step, hop back, whatever's best for you. And come through a vinyasa. Your option here is to head directly back to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up. If you have in your practice that you like to bend the knee, go ahead, but just be sure that the right knee is higher than the right foot, and then square off your shoulders. So drop that right shoulder so it's level with the left. Exhale to step the right foot through. Left heel down, warrior one. So in our warrior one, that left sole is connected to the earth. Lift that left kneecap up to lengthen and strengthen the left leg, and then bend the right knee just a little bit more. You can use your locks here. So Mula Bandha is a lock at the groin. It's at the first chakra, the base of your spine. It's actually the perineum, and you are engaging the pubococcygeal muscle. It's up to you. Keep your gaze forward, part the arms, come to warrior two. So arms are shoulder height. See if you can relax those shoulders and breathe. Keeping breath smooth, even, and continuous. Turn that right palm open and tip back, peaceful warrior. Both arms are straight, left fingers resting on that left thigh, right arm reaching tall. You could even straighten that right leg to feel more sensation down right side body. Bending the right knee, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Exhale, coming through your vinyasa. We'll meet you in downward facing dog. Left leg lifts. Stack left hip over right. And if you like, you can bend that left knee. Just make sure left knee is higher than left toe. Square off the left shoulder. And then step left foot forward. Warrior one. Planting right heel. Reaching up tall. Glue that right heel down. Lift that right arch and lift that right kneecap, making that right leg stronger, straighter. And then you can bend that left knee even more. We want to make sure that we have no less than a 90-degree angle on that left knee, and that the left knee is directly over that left heel, not in front of it. Keep your gaze forward, part your arms, warrior two. So the arms shoulder level, relax the shoulders. Turn the left palm to face up and tip back, peaceful warrior. Both elbows straight, right fingers resting on that right thigh. And if you want a little bit more sensation, you can always straighten that left leg, feeling that length down left side body. And bend that left knee, cartwheel the hands to the floor. Your vinyasa, or meet us in downward facing. Taking 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Enjoying the sensation, lifting your tailbone higher. Seeing if you can drop the head so the ears are directly between your biceps. And then maybe easing those heels 1/4 inch closer to the floor. There's no gains here. If you can get those heels down, you still get an A, even if your knees were bent, as long as the spine is as long as it can be. Bend your knees, look forward between your hands. If you have a hop in your practice, you can jump forward quietly or step right, step left. Come to flat back and then exhale, let it go. Bend your knees, circle the arms by your ears, Utkatasana. And then rise to stand, Tadasana. Let's do that again. Inhale those arms up. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. As you fold, exhale everything out, nose to knees. Inhale, flat back, prepare. If you're stepping, step with your left and your right. Otherwise, you could hop back. We'll meet you in downward facing. Right leg up. Feel free to open the hip, bend the knee, whatever feels good. And then step the right foot forward. Warrior one. Straightening that left leg more, bending that right knee more, using Mula Bandha if that's good for you. And then opening up to your warrior two. Tipping it back, peaceful warrior, right leg straightens. And now variation to triangle pose. So bring those arms level, shift the hips to your left, and windmill the arms into triangle. Just notice my right hand in triangle is above my knee. If I were to reach further, I turned it into a forward fold. Triangle is not a forward fold. It's a lateral stretch. So think about where that right hand needs to be. It could be above the knee, it could be below the knee, it could be on a block. And then turning your gaze down to the right big toe, bend the right knee, placing that right forearm on that right thigh for side angle pose. You could move your left foot further away. And then sweep left arm by left ear. One long line from left ankle to left wrist. Use the ribs here. So start to move your right ribs forward and your left ribs back. And notice we're maintaining as much space as possible between that right side body and the right thigh. So we don't want to sink down. Yeah? Stay nice and tall. And then you can release the hands down to the floor. Step that left foot in. So maybe the feet are 2 feet apart. And if you have blocks, you can place them under your shoulders. Inhale, long spine, and exhale to fold. You can release those blocks down a notch. If you want to make this easier, you could walk that left foot closer into the right. You could keep a soft bend on the right knee. So whatever works for you. Keep nudging that right hip back, feeling the length in the hamstring of the right leg. And then coming up to your fingertips, if you have blocks there, you could raise them up a little bit higher. The left hand stays on the floor or block. Swivel that right arm up to the sky for a twisting triangle. Make sure that your spine is long and not rounded over as you go to twist, protecting the integrity of those vertebrae. And then release the hand down, move your blocks out of the way, step back to either downward dog, or you can come through your vinyasa. Left leg up, open hip. Feel free to bend that left knee, lower left shoulder. Left foot forward, warrior one. Glue that right heel down, lift that right kneecap, straightening the right leg, and bend left knee just a little bit more. Gaze stays forward, warrior two. Peaceful warrior, tip it back, straight arms. Feel free to straighten that left leg for the sensation down, whole left side body, and then bring the arms parallel with the floor. Shift your hips to the right, windmill arms into triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana. Keeping in mind that where your left hand goes is very personal, right? It's really where you can keep your spine straight. I like to think of the spine as like an upside down T, where my pelvis, the line from one side to the other, is the top of the T, and my spine is the stem. So again, if I were to slide my left hand down, you could see my buttocks behind me. I'm now in a forward fold. I don't want to be there. Right? I want my triangle to truly be a lateral pose. And one of the visualizations or images that teachers have given are, pretend you're being pressed between two panes of glass. I prefer, imagine you're laying back against a wall, right? So obviously the tush could not be sticking out. Good. Now bend that left knee. Bring that left forearm to that thigh, and you could scoot the right heel back just to give a little bit more space to that groin. Sweep right arm by right ear, extended side angle, one straight line from right heel to right wrist. And you can add on here. So move the left ribs forward, move the right ribs back. So you're just peeling your heart open towards the sky, maintaining lots of space in this area between the body and the thigh. Then releasing the hands to either side of the left foot. And if you have those blocks handy, place them under your shoulders, scoot the right leg in. So we go from about 3 feet of distance between the feet to maybe 2 feet. You can come on up to your fingertips to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, pour yourself over that left leg. And you can turn those blocks down or remove them, whatever you need. Both feet are firmly connected to the earth. If you need this to be a little bit easier, you can walk that right foot even closer. Yeah, so you get to fix this for yourself. Keep pulling that left hip crease back to allow the stretch to be right in the belly of that left hamstring muscle. Can you soften with each breath? And then walk your fingers back to fingertips or hands on the high ends of the block. The right hand stays on the mat or on the block, keeping that spine long. Open that left arm to the sky for twisting triangle. Exhale, release the hand down, move the blocks out of the way, and either meet us in downward facing or come through your vinyasa. Five breaths in downward dog. Option to rest on your knees in child's pose if that's more appropriate for you. At any point during the practice, you can take a break and join us when you're ready. And then bend your knees, look forward between your hands. If you have a jump in your practice, quietly, lightly. Otherwise, step left, step right. Come to flat back, inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees, circle arms by ears. Utkatasana, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, come to Tadasana, standing pose. Standing balance poses. So feel free to use your chair, right? Or a wall or anything else if you need it. I won't be mirroring you, right? I'm just doing right, left. So hope you follow along. We're going to stand on the right foot, hands on the waist, and lift the left knee up. Open the left knee out and place the left foot anywhere on that right leg. And keep in mind that you can always keep that left toe on the floor as a kickstand. You can also go further, hinge forward, use your left hand to bring that heel into your groin, and then stand to lock it into place. So it looks like this here. As long as that heel is above the knee or below the knee, you're okay. And then inhale the arms up, finding a point to gaze at. Keeping the breath smooth, continuous, and even. Now's a perfect time to invoke ahimsa and your intention to be kind and compassionate. If you fall out of the pose, it's simply an opportunity to try again. Bring the hands back to heart center. Turn the left knee forward. And we can turn this into our warrior three. So release the hands behind you, and I'll face this way. And then start to move that left leg back. Now, your warrior three could stop here, right? It could have you balancing with the toe on the ground. If you want more, flex that left foot and start to bring the body parallel with the floor. You could also hold on. That's always an option as well. Soften that right knee, step back, high lunge. And we'll turn this into a twist. So begin with the hands at the heart and then turn the torso towards your right. So this may be enough for you. If you want more, hook your left elbow over that right knee and press down to spin the heart up. You could also part your arms. Bring those hands back to a prayer, hands to the floor, step onto the right foot and lift that left foot up for standing split. Option to have hands on blocks. Option to hold your right ankle, drawing nose closer to your knee. Step your left foot to meet your right. Forward fold. Bend your knees, circle arms by ears, Utkatasana. And exhale to Tadasana, standing pose. Do the other side. Standing on the left, hands on waist, lift the right knee up and open that knee. Find your perfect spot. Heel just beneath the knee, heel on ankle, toe to floor, or drawing that heel up to the groin, locking into place. So whichever works for you today. And every day is different. So you get to decide. Float your arms up. Find that unmoving spot to gaze at. Thinking kindness and compassion. What can you give yourself a break for today? How can you be loving and compassionate to yourself? When you're ready, bring the hands back to your heart and move that right knee to point forward. Transitioning into warrior 3, the hands behind. You could start to reach that right toe back. Maybe you're keeping it grounded. Maybe you're flexing the right foot and bringing the body parallel. And option to hold on. Allow your fingers to come to the floor or to blocks. Send that right toe up. You could hold on to that left ankle for standing split. And then right foot meets left, forward fold. Bend your knees, circle arms by ears, Utkatasana. And then exhale for Tadasana. Beautiful. So we're going to move into, excuse me, a balancing pose. If this is not accessible to you, I will give you an option. But we'll start by bending the knees and balancing on our heels. Again, if this isn't happening for you, please come to your seat, soles of the feet together in Badakanasana. We'll meet you here. So for the rest of us, we're balancing. We could turn this into crow pose or prayer squat. So if you'd like to do prayer squat, simply walk those feet a little wider, elbows inside the knees, and hold here. And you could use a block to sit on for more ease. If you'd like to work with crow pose or Bakasana, we start here, separate those knees. Hands are on the floor, shoulder distance apart, like chaturanga hands. And then lift up so you can bring your knees onto the backs of your arms and start to shift forward. Your gaze is forward. Now, maybe you'll lift a toe or the other toe or both toes, right? You get to choose. And the other option here for practicing crow is to use a block. Make a triangle between your hands and the block. Notice my hands are not at the block, they're behind it in a triangle. I bring my knees to my shoulders and then tuck chin, allow the crown of my head to balance on the block. So I can get that sensation of crow without the fear of bashing my head. And then for any of you who tried, you can always come to that prayer squat as a respite. And then go ahead and try your crow one more time. For those of you who are done with that, come to your seat and Badakanasana. For those of you who are in crow and have a desire for another chaturanga, another vinyasa, go ahead. Shoot the legs back and come through. And we'll meet you in Badakanasana, bound angle pose. Holding your ankles, lift the heart up. And as you exhale, hinge forward. So we want that bending not to come from the spine so much as to come from the hip. And then you can walk your hands forward. And when you get to your max, no bouncing, right? You just want to hold and breathe. You can drop the head, tuck your chin, and see if that gives you a little bit more freedom through the spine. Let your belly be soft. Let your face be soft. To come safely out of Badakanasana, walk your hands under your shoulders and lift up. We'll transition here to Pigeon Pose. So if you have any knee, hip, back problems, you can do a reclining pigeon. And my mic may go if I lay on it, but here we go. And you can cross the right ankle. For anyone who wants to do supine pigeon, we start in Badakanasana, bound angle pose. Leave that right leg where it is and simply slide the left leg behind you, checking to make sure that the leg is parallel with the outer edge of your mat and not splaying off to the side. Relax the toes, come on up to your fingertips. Inhale, long spine. And as you exhale, melt down onto your elbows. Feel free to stack your fists. Feel free to rest your forehead on those fists, keeping head aligned with spine. If you'd like to go deeper, move elbows wide, hands flat, and forehead on the backs of your hands. And then the option for full prostration, walking those hands out, chest to mat, forehead to mat. Now, if you're facing down, stay there, breathing in, breathing out. You have about 5 or 6 breaths more. If you're on your back, separate your feet, place your feet on the floor, and lift your hips up. So you're coming into a bridge. For those of us in our pigeon, when you're ready, walk your hands under your shoulders, lift up, and come on up to your fingertips. For our back bends, we can stay right here, fingertips lifting your heart up, gaze up, or you can bind. So right hand comes to the floor, bend your left knee. Your left hand comes behind you to the inside of that left foot. That's one option. Second option, to bind, bringing that toe to the crook of the left elbow, the right arm up, and then we clasp the fingers in Bakasana. So this is King Pigeon Pose. Feel free to modify as needed. If you're on your back in bridge, lower down and cross your left ankle over the right. For those of us in pigeon, come back to center. You can sit off to the right, swing the left leg around and reestablish your Badakanasana bound angle pose. Right leg goes behind you. Again, checking to make sure that right leg is inside the confines of your mat. Fingertips, inhale, here's your back bend. And then exhale your way to elbows, stack fists, or elbows wide, flat hands, or full prostration, chest and forehead to mat. For those of you on your back, uncross left leg, feet flat, lift hips. We have 5 more breaths in our pigeons. To come out of pigeon, hands under shoulders, lift up, come onto your fingertips. Here's that back bend. You can stay here or a bind. So it's the right hand inside that right foot, thumb points up, or go ahead and bind, bringing that right toe to the crook of the right elbow, left arm up, Bakasana arms. Whatever suits you. And if you're on your back, you can lower down. Releasing your king or queen pigeon pose. Sitting off to that left hip, swinging the right leg around. And you can come to lay on your back. Take the feet hip width apart on the floor and windshield wipe your knees. So you're laying down, I'm sitting up. Yeah, you're just windshield wiping the knees just to release the spine and bring yourself back to neutral. And then you can drop your knees over to the left. Open your arms like a T, palms facing up, and turn your gaze over your right palm. Belly twist. And there's lots of modifications and variations here in belly twist. You can always put a block between your knees to make things easier. You could always cross the right thigh over the left to make it harder, trying to get that right knee to the floor. But whichever pose you've chosen, see if you can ease your breath. Invoking ahimsa, loving kindness and compassion. On the next exhale, bring those knees up and drop them over to your right side. This time you're gazing over your left open palm. And use the same modifications or variations as you did on the other side. Maybe a block between the knees to make it easier. Maybe crossing left thigh over right, trying to reach that left knee toward the floor to make it more difficult. Every yoga pose comes on a continuum from very simple to most complex. And anywhere along that continuum you are doing the pose. Our goal is to fit the poses to our bodies and not the other way around. See if you can melt yourself a little deeper into this pose, whichever you've chosen. And then using your exhalation, lift those knees back up, and you can hug your knees into your chest, holding the knees together and using your arms to circle those legs. Make it the biggest circle you can, feeling the corresponding massage on your lower back. After a few circles, you can reverse the direction. And then go ahead, place your feet back on your outer edges of your mat and windshield those knees back and forth. Just releasing your spine, coming back to neutral. And then lowering yourself down one vertebra at a time, coming onto your back, you're already there. And then you can extend those legs long into a V. Go ahead and tuck your buttocks beneath you, letting the knees and toes splay out to either side. Go ahead and tuck one shoulder beneath you and then the other, letting the arms splay out. And if there's any tension in your neck, tuck your chin and releasing, just allowing yourself to release and relax into Shavasana, final relaxation. You're breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Become aware of the body, feeling the back of the head comfortingly pressing into the mat beneath you. Allow the face to soften. Allow the wrinkles to release from your forehead. Allow your teeth to be parted slightly so your jaw can go slack, letting the cheeks soften. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. And bring your awareness to your shoulders and feel those scapula, shoulder blades comfortingly pressing evenly into the mat. Feel that connection with the backs of your arms and the backs of your hands into the mat. And just feeling that connection, that heaviness. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Allow the heart center, your chest, to soften. Allow the breath to breathe you, right? No effort here. Belly is soft. Then bring your awareness to your lower back, your hips, your glutes. Notice the connection of the bottom half to the mat, feeling the backs of the thighs pressing down, the calves, the heels. Just noticing that steadiness, that groundedness that comes from that connection. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Allow that feeling of softness to wash over you from the head, your soft face, your eased chest and belly, all the way down through your thighs, calves, and feet. Bringing that attention back to your breath without changing your breath. Just notice each inhale and exhale. Maybe noticing the temperature of the air as it enters your nose, and if it's changed as it exits. And as many times as your mind wanders, bring it back to your breath with kindness, with compassion and understanding. Again, if your mind wanders, just bring it back to your breath. Feel free to continue your Shavasana as long as you like. If you'd like to come out of your final pose, begin with your breath, inhaling intentionally so the belly rises, exhaling, mouth open if you like, fully, so the belly falls, empties, flattens. Again, big breath in, belly rises. Big breath out, ha, let it go. Feel free to vocalize. Big breath in, belly rises. Big breath out, ha, letting it go. One more time for good measure. Wiggle your fingers. Wiggle your toes. Clench your hands into fists and then splay the fingers out wide and repeat. Point your toes and flex your heels. Repeat. Circle hands at the wrist. Circle feet at the ankles. Reverse the direction. And then carefully, with no hurry, start to bend your knees. Walk your feet to the outer edges of your mat. And one more time, windshield wipe your knees. The wider your feet, the better. The slower, the better. See if you can allow that inner knee to touch the floor. And then roll everything over to one side, lying in a child's pose. Knee over knee, hip over hip, shoulder over shoulder. And use your hands to press up to a seated position. We'll close our yoga practice today with Namaste. Namaste is both a greeting, hello and goodbye, and a blessing with our hands in prayer pose. The light and the love in me, recognize and bow to the light and the love in each of you. Namaste. I hope the rest of your day is wonderful.